couple of years ago, Debbie and I stepped out in faith, and I'd like to tell you about it today. As we look back over our 40 plus years of ministry, these faith decisions, or stepping out in faith, have been things that have molded and directed our lives and our ministry. Faith decisions are what we do to walk in God's will. Some of the major things that have happened that were very significant. One is joining our church in Kansas City. Another was responding to a call to serve the Lord in Mexico. And then coming to the state of Tlaxcala to do church planting work was also a big step of faith. And 20 years ago, when we started an organization called LAMM to send missionaries around the world, it was another big step. And each of these times are very exciting. Sometimes they're very stressful, full of challenges. But this is the way that we're able to walk and progress and do what the Lord would have us to do. And Debbie and I made a faith decision to meet a special need. When LAMM was started about 20 years ago, we understood that this organization was going to need its own space to work. We've been working out of our house, and it's been a good thing. We've enjoyed it. But we began to realize it's a limiting factor for the growth and the future of LAMM. We want LAMM to be a powerful tool for the kingdom of God. And in order to do that, one of the things that are important is that LAMM needs its base of operation. It's important for the future of LAMM. It's important for the missionary movement in Mexico. And it's also very important for the unreached peoples of the world who are waiting to receive the gospel. And so the next thing that I'd like to tell you about in this process is a few years ago, I just realized we need to do something. We don't have any finances to do it, but really we need to act. And I had understood that when you begin to move, things begin to happen. And so how can we move? So I sent one of our staff people out to investigate properties, and he looked at different options. And we had no money to buy anything, found some wonderful pieces of property, but nothing happened as a result of that. And we just didn't go forward with it. And then a couple of years ago, a piece of property was offered to us. And we felt like God was drawing us to this piece of property. And we discussed it with our board of directors, and we prayed, and we just felt like it was the correct thing to do. And really, amazingly, we had a down payment. And so we made a faith decision to go forward. And we began to made this commitment to buy the property in 2019. And it was done, and it was more difficult than we anticipated, but by the end of last year, it was covered. Also, another thing that we did in the spring of 2019, I went to the States for about 6 weeks, and I shared the vision with friends and supporters, and I was just so encouraged about how people responded, how people were encouraging us. Also, we received many special offerings to help us to get the project started. And so we have been moving forward with this project. And I'd like to share with you now about how the project is coming. And I have some pictures I'd like to show you. First of all, here is a picture from Google Maps about the location. You can see that it's kind of in a rural area, and it's just outside of Apizaco where we live. And it's a developing area. And I have a few pictures also about, this shows the property, how it was before anything was done to it. There's a couple of interesting testimonies that I'd like to share about this property. One is when we were in the process of deciding whether or not we were going to buy it or not, we realized it didn't have good telephone or internet in this area of Mexico, or this area of town still. And so one of our board members works for the telephone company, and he went and he investigated what's the plans for telephone in that area. And he came back and he says they are about to put in new telephone lines and internet, or fiber optic internet. But the hitch is when it comes available, you have to get it. And so when they became available, we contracted 2 telephone lines with 2 fiber optic internet lines. And when they were installing, doing the work to set it up, where do we hook it up? And it's like, well, we don't have a place yet. All we have is a bare piece of property. So anyway, it's been about 2 years, we've been paying for these internet lines, believing that soon we will have a place to put them. And another thing that happened was that just after we made a commitment to buy this property, this dirt road that goes beside the property was paved. And so now you can go there, you can ride there on paved property, and that's a real blessing. And another thing, I have a picture here I'd like to show you, and it's the style that we were interested in for the development of the campus. And we've just found it on the internet, and we call it a modern hacienda style. And so we gave it to the architect, and she used this in the design of the campus. And also now you can see here a picture how this property will be developed. And you can see that on the right-hand side there's a storage unit, and also on the left there is a main office building. And this is where really a lot of the work of LAMM will take place. And there's inside of here will be the administrative things, and any organization has bookkeeping and different kinds of things that they do. Also, there's another department that we call services, that things that we do for our missionaries to help them to be successful, and so we give them services. And so there's a team of people that do that. We have another mobilization department, and the mobilization is a lot of different works, a lot of communicating with people all around the world. We do have internet and Facebook and podcasts and WhatsApp and all these kinds of things to communicate with. And it's also when people come and they're interested in being sent to the nations, well, there's a whole work that needs to be done with them to help them along the way to make their faith decisions to go to the field. And also we have a training program called Inmersión, and that comes under the mobilization department. Then there's another area that's called coaching. And when a candidate comes to LAMM and they're on their way to the field, there's a whole process, a lot of things that they have to be able to do to be able to go to the nations, and those include finances and the church being ready to send them, and where are they going to work when they get there. And a lot of times it involves English, and so there's all kinds of things that need to take place. And so we have a department to coach them through the process and walk with them. There's another department called member care, and it's the kind of a pastoral care for our people that that go to the field and make sure that they're okay, and what their prayer requests, and walking with them through difficult times. Also, another thing that I'm excited about is this office building will have a prayer room, and it's a place where we can pray for, dedicated to pray for the missionaries, to pray for the nations, pray for the work that they're doing. It's something that our staff can participate in, and other people from the community can come and use this prayer room to pray for the nations. And in the back, there's another building, and this is the Training and Hospitality Center. We do orientations and we do trainings. Right now we use a local church because we don't have the space, but it's in the back building. There is a space for doing that. And also on the second floor is a hospitality area that has places for people to stay when they come and visit and spend time in LAMM. And then on the other another cutout, you can see a floor plan of the same of the property. It's like I took off the top roof of it, and you can see it has offices and also has common areas, because as a team each of us participate on several different teams of working, and so we work on our own and we work together, and so that's kind of the way the dynamic of LAMM is. And so this is designed to help facilitate the work that we are doing. And so anyway, on July 1st of this year, we had our groundbreaking. And we wanted to have a big celebration. But because of the pandemic, all we did was have some of the staff come together. We had a time of prayer. We walked around the perimeter of the property and turned over some shovelfuls of dirt and dedicated this place, this work, this property to the Lord. And I'd like to show you a little video about that. algunos de ustedes oran, por favor, voz alto. Okay. Aleluya. Bueno, damos la primera, la segunda, la tercera palabra. ¿Ah?
Gracias.
Ok, bueno. Ya lo hacemos.
Sí.
Yo creo que es un poco duro la tierra.
Busca un montón.
Yo hice un prueba por allá y dije, híjole. Okay.
Así es la tierra dura.
Sí, la tierra es dura.
Sí, en el campo también es muy duro. A lo mejor no tanto.
Literal.
Nuestra Tlaxcala y también
Que ese lugar aquí donde estamos, esto será como la entrada a un centro de entrenamiento. Okay. Y allá arriba es el lugar donde hay, bueno, donde Damaris va a ir a vivir.
sí, todavía está cuando tenemos esto.
Ok, entonces la primera palabra. Bueno, ya está bien, está decente, ¿no?
Sí, está bien.
Sí,
ahí
para
está.
hacer la primera.
¿Quién quiere hacer la segunda?
Quisiera que estuviese en la mesa directiva sobre...
Okay, next I'd like to show you about the phases of construction. Okay, there in this graphic you can see that there's three different colors, and the first one is blue, and it is it's the storage unit. It has a lot of the perimeter wall, and I can also say that phase one includes a lot of the preliminary, the architect and engineers and license to build and water and sewage and all these kinds of things are all included in that. And so that's what we're working on at this time, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. The second part is the office building, which is shaded in yellow. And we need to have the ground floor completed so that we can go there and we can be occupying and using and taking advantage of this facility. And it's really my heart and my faith that we will be able to continue to work until at least that is done. And then in the back, the red shading is the Training and Hospitality Center. And anyway, I'd like to show you a few pictures about what we've been doing in phase one. And it's been, up to this point, it's been foundations. There's a lot of digging, a lot of rebar, a lot of cement. This is an earthquake area, and so it's important that we have a firm foundation. Now there's some financial goals, and I'd like to tell you about the things that have happened and what we're believing for. First of all, the first financial goal was to be able to purchase the property. And I can just say, praise the Lord, we did it. It's done. The Lord provided. The second goal is phase one, and that's what we're working on now. And it included all the preliminaries that I just mentioned. And we're really very close of having the finances needed to do phase one. And I'm so happy and thrilled about that. But the third goal is phase two. And we need to at least have the ground floor done so that we can occupy this space. And I've made a goal, and I prayed about it, and I'm believing for it, that in the next 6 months that we will be able to raise $80,000 to go for this office building. And as of today, there's been about $17,000 that's already been given towards this goal, and there's other finances that have been committed and are on the way. So I'm just really encouraged that we're going to see this happen. And I would like to invite you to be a part of this. I would like you to consider giving $5,000 at one time or over the next few months so that this project can be completed. Or if you feel like God is directing you with a different amount, just, we just so much appreciate what you can do to work with us to make this project happen. Having this campus would be such a significant step towards being a blessing and a powerful tool to reach the nations of the world. And having this campus would be a blessing to the nations. It would be a blessing to the Mexican brothers and sisters whom God is calling to take the gospel to the nations. They've made their faith decisions and stepping out in faith, and it's a way that we can help them and support them in what God is doing in their lives as well. And and so anyway, I'd like to put up on the screen here as I close the way that you can contact us and the ways that you can give, and so we're willing to talk to you and to share with you more about it and answer questions. And so thank you so very much. I thank you for being a part of this ministry. And through your giving, you're part of the ministry. Through your prayers, you're part of the ministry, and you're working together with us to take the gospel to the nations. And so anyway, I just want to bless you and thank you for the wonderful ways that God is working and the way that you are participating in this ministry. Lord bless.